Welcome to Live from My Drum Room. My guests are legendary drummer and returning champion Steve Gadd and a legend in the drum industry, Rob Wallis, owner and founder of Hudson Music and DCI Video and the Godfather of drum instructional videos. They're here to discuss Steve's new book, Steve Gadd Up Close and In Session, a revised and updated version of material from the classic DCI videos that changed the course of drum education. Prepared under Steve's supervision, this new book combines all the footage from the classic DCI videos with an expanded book documenting Steve's influential approach to the drums, and so much more. It's available now through hudsonmusic.com with a limited number of signed copies. I'll put the link in the show notes. So come along for the ride and please welcome the legendary Steve Gadd and Rob Wallis. Welcome, Rob.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm great, buddy. It's great to see you. And I see our friend is, we know he's here. We know he's in the building.
I think he's getting close.
He's up to his Steve Gadd antics. There he is.
Hey.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, John. How you doing? Something happened to the camera. I don't know what's going on.
It made your voice go up a couple of octaves.
Hey, how you guys doing?
That's 14-year-old Steve Gadd right there.
Oh my! You see, this is why I'm glad I'm not in sunny Florida right now and here in snowy Boston to do this show with you guys today.
It's all showbiz. It's all about the showbiz.
Oh man, it's so good to see you guys. Two of my best buddies, favorite people.
How you guys doing?
Great, Steve-O.
Good?
Great. Yeah,
We're
thank you
good,
for
yeah.
being here. I know you're busy. Everybody watching, Steve's in New York, getting ready for rehearsals for Love Rocks, right? That's
The benefit we do every year. This is our 10th year,
yeah.
raising money for people that are sick, that can't get out and get food, and they deliver meals. And so it's a nice event, and I look forward to it.
That's great. That's great that you've been part of it. You know, I just want to tell.
Can I just say, John,
Yeah.
let me just interrupt. It's an incredible organization. Steve's being very modest. Last year, they served 5 million meals in the New York area, New York, all the boroughs, 5 million custom tailored meals depending on people's medical requirements. And it started back in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic. One woman served a couple of meals to friends that couldn't get out to eat, that were sick with AIDS. And the organization has just grown. They just opened a gigantic kitchen in Brooklyn, I believe. It's an amazing organization. And the show, it's ridiculous who plays every year. It's like absolute, stellar lineup of all time. So anyway, and I'm going Thursday night, so I'm looking forward to seeing the show.
And Steve, you and Sean Pelton play double drums, right? I know Sean.
Actually, I'm going to meet with Sean today to go over some things because we like to try and do things together. You know what I mean? With two drums.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good, and it's probably like a 4-hour show. It's amazing how they do this thing. But I'm so proud and to be a part of it.
That's great. Yeah. Well, it's so great that you've been part of it for so long, and it's what a great benefit. What you're doing is so great.
Great organization.
Yeah, it's a good organization. Great people. Really nice people.
Fantastic.
It's like a family now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Well, guys, we're here today to talk about the re-release, the updated version of Up Close and In Session, the new book, available now through Hudson. And there it is. Yeah. And so people can order it now, Rob, right, through hudson.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes. And there's still some signed copies still available from
Yeah, in fact, Steve and I have to get together this week and get some books signed. Yeah, there's been a pretty big response, which is great.
Great.
I think this book, it's funny. It's touched, it seems like from the emails and messages and stuff I get, it's touched a nerve for a lot of people that kind of grew up with the videos, and then the book. And, it's heartwarming actually to get these messages of people thanking us for the work that we did, and the inspiration it gave them at the time. And still some guys say they still watch the old videos. They kept their VHS machine just so they could watch the original tapes. They don't want to get like a DVD or digital. They want the original.
It's like listening to vinyl, right? It's like listening to vinyl, like a stuff record on. In fact, I meant to grab my stuff record. I had it ready to go, still on vinyl. But anyway, I just have to say, just personally, how before I ever knew either of you guys, how influential that video was. When that came out, that was, we had never, so many of us had only seen Steve's name on records and maybe a picture and a Yamaha catalog or something. But that changed everything, Rob and Steve. I mean, what an amazing, kind of groundbreaking event to have an instructional video with Steve Gadd, and just talk about the influence or the impact that had on both of you guys at that time.
Well, I mean, Rob was the one that it was his baby, you know what I mean? And he was trying to, get me to commit, and I was busy and crazy. And you let him tell the story about that, because he's got a better memory than me.
It wasn't simple. We'll start with that. It wasn't
never
simple.
It never is.
Especially the good things. You have to work hard for them. If you don't mind, rather than me blabber, I wrote a little forward for the new book, and I'll just read 2 paragraphs because it really kind of spells out the whole thing. Like you said, John, at the time, Steve was a name that we all heard about, but we never got to see him play unless you were lucky enough, in New York to go to McKell's, the club the Brecker brothers owned, McKell's, the club on the Upper West Side, and the Breckers were 7th Avenue South.
That's right.
And Steve would occasionally, be there playing with stuff at McKell's. So with the very early days of video happening, I thought, who better than to get Steve behind the camera to show what he does and let people see him and see how he plays and talk about that. So I'll just read this briefly. I set my sights on getting Steve in front of the camera, but it wasn't easy. It involved months of leaving messages with his phone service and trying to ease his concerns about teaching. One of those calls, I finally got him to agree to meet me at a bar on the corner of the street he lived on in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan. Remember, Steve? Wee Molly Pub.
Wee Molly Pub, yeah.
On 30th Street. It might still be there.
I think it is.
As I nervously sat there waiting for me, walked through the door, and my heart just about popped out of my chest, I quickly met a very warm, funny, and interesting man. After a drink or two, he invited me to his loft a few doors away, and we spent a few hours talking. It seemed like he was getting close to saying yes. After a few more messages, tags, and calls, I finally reached him again. He was not in a good place, and at that time basically said, "Stop calling me, I'm not doing this thing," and hung up the phone. I had a decision to make. Do I abandon this idea or make a move? I decided on the latter. I knew Steve was going to be recording that night at Ralph McDonald's studio, Rosebud, not far from my office at Drummers Collective. I decided I'd go sit on the curb until he showed up, as I had no idea what time the session was scheduled for. After a few hours, I saw him walk around the corner with his wife Carol behind him. I saw her shaking her head in disbelief when she saw me. I thought, here we go. I walked up to Steve, got in his face, and said, "You're not walking away from this thing just like that." After a few more minutes on the street going back and forth, Steve looked me in the eye and saw he could trust me. He also must have thought if I was crazy enough to sit on the street and wait for him, I must be pretty serious. Finally, he said, "Let's go inside."
Uh-huh.
Man.
And that's how it happened.
And that was almost 45 years ago, right? I mean, like 19...
Let's not talk about that part of
the
show.
I mean,
and I've never made amends to you, Rob, so I'd like to do it publicly right now. Tell you how sorry I am for making it so difficult, man. Those were crazy times for me, Rob. You know that as well as I do.
Well, I'll take that apology and I'll honor it, and it reaches my heart deeply. We've
Uh,
been through a lot together, that's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, we have, and
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys,
It's been a fantastic relationship, and
it's
what can I
fantastic that
say?
we're still doing it.
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, it's
Still
amazing.
doing some new projects, and it's
Yeah,
a good ride.
yeah,
Yeah. I was
Thank,
going to
absolutely.
say it was,
I want to thank you
Man,
for
it's
all
been
that you've done.
my honor to be a fly on the wall.
Uh,
no, Rob, let's take just a second and talk about that too, because you've done so much, I mean, just for everybody in the drum industry with the school, with Drummers Collective, with DCI Video and now Hudson Music. And I've heard this story, both of you guys tell that story many times, but it is really heartwarming to see how that all came to be. And you guys, this friendship that's been going on now for almost 50 years as a result of it, of Steve trusting you, and you having so much love and respect for Steve and just always putting what's good for him and best for him first, and it's obvious that that's always been in your heart to do that, It's great.
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this. This is pretty exciting stuff because you've taken, these two classic. I'll let you talk about it, Rob. But it's basically, if I have it right, you've taken the classic Up Close book and added with it, which was never available as a book, in session, and expanded on it. And you've got this kind of greatest hits of Steve Gadd package here now. So
Yeah, it encompasses the two original videos. The videos are part of the book, so if you do the digital version, you just tap the screen. There's a little video icon. You tap it, and the video pops right up, and then the music is there. And we added, all the in-session stuff, which to me was just incredible playing. And a funny story, when we started to work on this project, we wanted to add photos in. And I said, well, what could be better really than doing, if we could get the original photos from the photographer that was there originally for the session, Ebet Roberts, who went on to have a big career as a photographer. So I dug out some of the original prints she had sent us, some contact sheets actually from my file. I'm a pack rat. And so I had this from from the sessions, and there was a phone number with her name on the back. And I figured, what the hell, let me call. The worst case, I'll wake up somebody, She answers the phone. This was from 1984, 85.
Wow.
She answers the phone. I said, Ebet, we had this whole long talk. She, of course, remembered the sessions. She also did the Jocko session for us when we did the instructional video with Jocko. But I said, Ebet, it's amazing, So she was so thrilled that we're going to, bring these photos to life that no one's ever seen, other than a couple that popped up here and there. So yeah, it was a really, sometimes things get a momentum, and sometimes they just kind of organically come together.
yeah.
And this book was definitely, all the projects with Steve really have been comfortable to do. We find a way to work around his schedule because, as I'm sure people have heard and you've talked about, John, when Steve jumps in on a project, he's all in. And
Yeah.
we've laughed about the Gatterman's book. He would call from England and say, go to page 22, bar 8, that we need an accent on the last eighth note,
I love that. Yeah.
That's Steve. Actually, after one of those calls, he called like 4 or 5 times that night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I said, man, it's like 4 a.m. for you. You better go to sleep. He was recording with Eric Clapton. I said, Eric's going to call me all bugged that you didn't get a good night's sleep. It's enough already.
Yeah. I can hear that. I can hear
it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the honest truth. But anyways, Steve is all in. So, all these projects have been such a joy because it just, they just kind of roll along.
Yeah.
And, the Gattermans was a funny story. I had kind of lost touch with Steve. We would, yeah, there was a period of a bunch of years we would, talk once or twice a year, the holidays, text a little here and there. But when he moved away, I hadn't really seen him that often. And one day, Carol texted, actually, Michelle Ito texted, and may she rest in peace. And she said, Steve's bringing his band to Japan, and he needs a place to rehearse in New York because John Tropez's filling in on the gig.
Spinoza.
Oh, it's Spinoza.
Spinoza.
Right.
I remember
I'm
this.
sorry. It was Spinoza.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
And he said, Steve needs a place to rehearse. I said, well, I didn't own the collective at that point. I had moved on at that point, but I called up the guys there. And of course they gave Steve a rehearsal room, which was wonderful. And I went up to New York and we spent the day together, and it kind of reconnected us. And that was before COVID. And then once COVID hit, obviously everybody was inside. Steve was home for the first time probably in his life since he was really young, with no gigs and no touring, right? And so he was playing literally all around the house with rubber tip sticks.
Right.
And Carol called, she texted one day, she said, you got to do something. He's driving me crazy. So I said, well, tell him to call me. She said, he's working on all these things. He's in the kitchen like all night long. All I hear is tapping away in the kitchen. So that led to the Gaddimans book. It took a while to put together. Steve had incredible ideas about, first having it hand notated, not using, computer software.
Yeah. Yep.
When we talked about that in the past, so I don't want to dwell on it, but yeah, it was,
I think that's one of the most special things about that book is Steve's hand notations. I think that it just sets it apart, and I have to say, I remember that period of time when you could call Steve and he'd answer. I mean, he answers the phone when he's around anyway, but he couldn't run away from us. When I'd ask him to be on a podcast with me, or you asked him to do a book, he couldn't say no.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons he tours so much is it's hard to hit a moving target,
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. It's easy for him to get out of doing stuff with us, but no, that's another great story. What were you going to say, Steve? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I love doing stuff with you guys. It's always a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
It's been a really good ride, and we're still at it. We're thinking about another book down the road. So working with Rob has always been a pleasure. So
thank you, Steve. Likewise.
We're in a good place. We're in a good place.
Yeah. I'll just say this too, Steve, and maybe you don't realize this too, that because of your background and how well how studied you are as a drummer, you have, you can read, and your video was so great because you were able to explain things that, some drummers can't always do. You know what I mean? And I think that was the great thing about that, all the videos, but that first video where you're breaking stuff down and you're talking about things that we've heard on records, and it was so groundbreaking and revolutionary, for people to see that.
That was all, Rob, and at the time, Paul, and it was good to be able to share information like that, about music and playing drums and things that are important to me. And I felt like we've been telling the truth, you know what I mean? And that, I hope it withstands the test of time,
So far, 40 years, whatever, it's pretty good. So hopefully cheers to another 40 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And we'll, and when we come back and do this in 40 more years, we'll we'll be able to say that. It's been 80 years now, and it's
80 years. Yeah,
the
man.
video's, still going strong. Hey, let's play. Speaking of the video, Rob was nice enough to send me a couple of clips, and I thought we'd play a little something this is from the first one, I believe, from up close. Should we play a little bit of this, fellas? And
sure.
And Rob, do you want to set this up in any way, or do you want to talk about it after we play it?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a spot where Steve was talking about, breaking up different rudiments between, the hands and feet. So this is, I think, a little clip where he's just showing how he would, practice and spread some things around.
Yeah. Okay, here it comes.
Those are just different coordinated things. You know what I'm saying? Just different combinations between hand and feet.
Man, classic. And I'll just say the impact that had like on the drum community, seeing Steve's drums like that too. I was working in a drum shop at the time, and people were just dying to get like close up pictures of Steve's drums, like the heads and the sizes and all that sort of mystery that was starting to become unraveled as a result of seeing him in these videos. I'm sure it helped Yamaha a lot. I know it helped Zildjian a lot.
Well, it helped me a lot too, you know what I mean? But yeah, I haven't seen those in a long time, and I have to go back and check them out.
Maybe you'll pick up a few new tips,
You never know. You never know.
Well, this is, a couple more things I want to make sure we mention, that we are going to randomly give away to 3 lucky winners a signed page from the Gaddemann's book.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so we're just looking at some responses here from the live show of people that are, I did ask the question, and I'll just ask it again. How many people have their original VHS tape of Up Close? I'm curious. And I saw a bunch of people saying they did, not surprisingly. And yeah, so that's, but again,
You'll pick the winners, John? You'll pick the winners? After the show, you'll pick the...
All right. Well, yeah. Well, you and I, Rob, we'll do it after the show. We'll go through.
Okay.
All
right.
We'll spin the wheel.
Yeah, there you go.
But you mentioned also, Rob, I know it's in all the promotional information too. There's a bonus clip, which I don't have to show, but there's a bonus clip of Steve at Zildjian Day 1984.
Yes. Yeah.
And
there's been over the years, a lot of feedback on YouTube and so forth to the solo Steve did. I mean, there's endless solos on YouTube that he's played on that have, been talked about, but no one had ever transcribed that one. So we have a great transcriber, Terry Branham, and he said he actually said, after he finished the in-session stuff, he said, why don't we do a little bonus clip from the Zildjian Day, show? And so he went ahead and transcribed it. So we added that in as a little bonus because people have been asking for that over the years, and it's really never appeared anywhere.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And I know there's also a guarantee that if you buy this book, you'll sound exactly like Steve Gadd or your money back. Is that true? That Hudson will refund your money?
You get the old Evans drum heads, the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I mean, to me, how could you not buy this book with that sort of a guarantee? Well, I'm going to play another clip from this that you sent to me, Rob, and this is Let's see.
I'll set this one up.
Okay.
Steve was playing with a great piano player named Jorge Dalto and Eddie Gomez. So, the in session video really was about playing, music in a musical situation. The first video was Steve on drums talking about technique and paradiddle, the real drumistic stuff. And the second video, we decided let's really make it about playing music. So we had two different rhythm sections for the video. The first was Jorge Dalto on keyboard, who's passed away, Eddie Gomez on upright, and then the second rhythm section was Will Lee and the great Richard T. Yeah. So, I mean, for me to be able to work with these musicians, in itself was mind blowing. But the music was just tremendous. And play this clip, and I have a little story about it afterwards.
All right.
But this is Steve with Jorge and Eddie.
All right, here it comes. Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
On fire. Steve, can I ask Rob, I want to hear that story, but can I ask you, Steve, when I saw that clip, the ride that you're playing, and I'm doing my old Zildjian geeking here, but is that the ride that Zildjian cut down? Like it was a cracked.
I have to look again. I can't. Can you show it?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Hang on a second.
Those cymbals sound so great.
Oh man, amazing. I don't know if you can tell by looking at that, Steve.
I think that
looks like an 18 or a
that's one of the. I can't really. I think that's the Earth ride that I got out of Armin's office. It was I was in Armin's office one night with Rab Zildjian, and Armin had a set of drums in his office. He was a left-hander like you.
Yeah.
And he had some prototype cymbals leaning up against his desk near the drums. And so there were a couple of they were hand-hammered earth rides that were prototypes. And I, listened to them and loved them. And Rob said I could take them. So, and I think that's one of them. I used them until they just broke. But I got a lot of use out of them, and they were great sounding cymbals.
Yeah, it sounds great. Okay, yeah, it definitely looks like an Earth Ride with a K logo on it.
Right.
Yeah. Boy. Okay, great. Thank you, Steve. So, yeah, Rob, I want to hear your story.
So this is I never even mentioned this to Steve at the time or since, but in that tune, I was standing, with headphones on in the studio, and there was a big glass, looking into the control room. And before the tune started, I had said to the engineer, I'm going to give you a cue, and I want you to raise the sound in Steve's headphones of the piano and bass so that he can hear it. Because I had a feeling he was going to crank up and start playing, hitting hard, playing loud. And I wanted to help exacerbate the situation. I wanted to throw a little extra fuel on the fire, John. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So I would give the guy like I would do like a little finger, thing, and he would slowly raise up the audio level in Steve's cans so that he was comfortable hitting harder and kind of goosed him along a little bit, So sorry, Steve, but that was a little underhanded trick,
Oh, I didn't know about it, but it worked. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I kept that one quiet all these years, but now it's time.
I haven't seen that since we did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And man, it's that was.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that.
Me too.
Yeah. No wonder all the kids went crazy, Steve. No, it's no wonder. I've been telling you that for I don't know how long now. But that's a great story, Rob. That's a good producer at work, is what that is.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The truth.
Yeah. And hey, Steve, I thought, we're I know we don't have a lot of time here, but I thought I would just slide in a couple of quick questions from the audience. And an old friend is watching, Scott Moyer, who was working for SIR back in the 70s out in LA when you recorded Asia at Producer's Workshop. And Scott has told me this story and has told this story that he provided the drums for you that day when you recorded Asia. And he recalls you using a Zildjian rock ride, a Zildjian 21-inch rock ride. And, when I first heard that, I just found that hard to believe that's the sound of that ride that we hear on Asia would be an A rock ride. But do you have any recollection of that? He said you had just got it somewhat recently. You came in with your own cymbals.
An A?
An A, yeah.
I do not remember that, but it's just you can add that to a bunch of other things that I don't remember.
No, I know that's almost 50 years ago, 1977. So I totally understand. But I've heard some of those old A's, and especially if Lenny picked it, it could have very well been, just a nice, not too heavy, harsh sounding rock ride.
Right. That was before they were, coming up with cymbals that represented people that were playing them. That's when you just went and picked out cymbals, and they were all different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and they were all great. They were all great. I don't remember exactly what it was though.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Scott, if you're still watching, I tried. I tried. No, he's asked me in the past to ask you that question, and I've been meaning to. But
you know what? It could be. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, to me, whenever I hear that song, it sounds like one of your old K's. It just has that airy sound. That you got from those cymbals. But
right.
But who knows? Yeah. But Let me just see if there's another. There's lots of questions here. I'm going to see if I can grab another quick question. There's always lots of questions from the audience. Hang with me one second, folks. I want to ask you a good one, Steve. Not, what do you think about when you play rudiments? That's not a good question to ask.
Steve, while John is looking, what do you got coming up, gig-wise? Where are you after New York? Where are you headed?
And I go to Europe for 3 weeks with this little trio, two guys from Copenhagen, an organ player and a saxophone player, and Michael Blicker and Dan Hemmer. We'll do Europe for 3 weeks. Then I come back to New York and rehearse for about a week with Paul Simon. And then we go back to Europe and do, probably 5 or 6 weeks. And then a little break. And then I go hook up with James Taylor at the end of May and, do the summer and fall with James. So, but you know what? I've been off since Christmas. So today's like my first day back working, So, but we're getting ready to hit it though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Talk about hitting it. Yeah.
It's great. It's really great to see that.
Well, I'm going to just my friend Jeremy Driesen. How can you possibly wear a watch with a loose metal strap when you play? That's always baffled me. He does though. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to take it off, but then I got, when I take it off, it was a good chance I'd forget it, so I'd ended up keeping it on.
Especially, a nice watch like that.
Hoping one day to maybe that Rolex would want me to do a commercial. It never happened.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to make a call. We're going to make a call to Rolex. Mm-hmm. Get them to step up. Well, guys, before we kind of wrap things up today, anything more we want to talk about with this introduction of it's going to be available? It's available now, basically, Rob, right? For all intents and purposes, people can order.
People can order through hudsonmusic.com, and the option is there to, if you want to get a signed copy, and for a little while, the signed copies, you also get the digital version of the book. So it's kind of a little bonus thing that we wanted to make available for people. The Hudson digital app is getting pretty popular, which is great to see. It's, we have a couple of big upgrades coming in the next week or two, but little plug for the Hudson book app. But yeah, you can order now. They're standing by to take your call. the celebrity telethon. But yeah, it is available. It's going to start shipping next week, and hopefully I'm going to get with Steve this week to sign a whole bunch of them. We've got a whole bunch of books ready to meet with Steve at the Phillips Club, I hope.
Yeah.
Before he leaves New York. And yeah, that's it.
And the price, Rob, I know when you go on the website, it's $29 for the book, and then there's is the expanded edition $45 or?
No, that's for the signed. It's a little more for the signed copy because it's just a lot more manpower, and it's more difficult to kind of administer those and get them shipped properly. But yeah, and then that, like I said, that comes with the digital version also.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And and you can get just the digital version also, which is $24.99 for the book digitally by itself.
Fantastic. No, it's a bargain at twice the price.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, is there anything else we want to cover here, boys? I don't want to leave any stone unturned here. We talked about giveaways. We talked about the book being available now through hudsonmusic.com.
I got one little one that I'll mention that also I've never discussed, and I'm not even sure if Steve remembers this one, but we actually went in and, my partner at the time, Paul, we had very little video experience. we were making it up as we went along. We were both drummers, and we went in and did the first shoot. You know, I was super nervous. Steve, it wasn't a great day. I think he'd been working for nonstop for days. We did the session, and Steve had a cigarette at different points where he was actually smoking a cigarette. And after the shoot, I think, best of my memory, a few days later, we spoke, and I think Steve and Carol weren't happy that he was smoking a cigarette that day. And I wasn't real happy with the outcome of the video shoot, and I was kind of losing sleep over it. And I said, oh man, there it is, my window. I said, well, let's just go in and do it again. And so what is really on the market is the second time we did it.
Wow.
I didn't know that, man.
You had a great T-shirt on. I don't remember the whole thing. I mean, if you remember, Steve, when we started, I had questions prepared, and I was going to sit underneath the camera so you would be looking at the camera, and we would have a conversation. And you said, it would be a lot more comfortable if you were sitting here next to me. It'd be easier for us to talk like a conversation. And I wasn't really prepared for that. I actually had to borrow a sweater from the cameraman because I was wearing like a funky old T-shirt, so I wore the cameraman's sweater and when I was sitting there next to you. And that's kind of how it all happened. And, talking about organically just rolling with it, that was it.
Wow, man. That's some great inside stuff. Well, I remember when we did the Zildjian tribute to Steve in 2003, the American Drummers Achievement Awards. And Rob, you remember this.
Yeah.
After we videotaped the whole thing, Steve realized that his hair was a little bit out of place. So we had to reshoot the whole show. Had to get James Taylor and Paul Simon to come back. It was
stressful. That was stressful.
It was tough. We had to get, but the finished product, it was worth it because Steve's hair is perfect. His hair is perfect.
He looked good.
He looked really good.
Yeah. As Warren Zevon said, his hair was perfect.
His hair was perfect. No, it's funny. I have so many great, funny, and just heartwarming stories about Steve that we'll save for another time. But I just think about all the times we traveled together on the Mission from Gadd tours, and I still, I just laugh. I sometimes find myself just laughing about something that happened, like, how many drummers does it take to change a light bulb?
Yeah, right. And then someone in the audience said, "What's a light bulb?"
Completely threw me off my game. I had this great punchline ready to go. Only one drummer, Steve Gadd's already done it or something was the punchline. But the guy says, "What's a light bulb?" We just sat there laughing.
Johnny, how about putting you on the spot here? How about a quick, Mission from Gadd story? Because there must have been a million of them.
Oh boy.
I remember the bus when we filmed up at Manhattan School of Music. Steve was doing a clinic up there, and we filmed it.
Yeah.
And the bus rolled up. It was so cool looking.
Was that the one with my picture, the big picture of me on the outside? Oh, John, let me tell you how much I never told you how much I love that bus.
Oh, you did, Steve. You did. Believe me. And don't forget, we did like 3 or 4 of these tours. So every tour had Steve's picture on the bus. And I think by the end of it, he was accepting it. But every time he'd look and he'd go, "Geez, really?" Really?
But it was massive. It's a massive,
it was. Yeah, massive picture. But there's a couple of really funny ones. I think it was probably the first one we did in 2005. I remember we were all kind of, you guys know what this is like too. We were just road worn from being out on the road for 2 weeks. And we had this routine where we'd go get a Starbucks before we'd go over to Steve would do the meet and greet at the music store, at the drum shop. So I said to Steve, yeah, there's a Borders Books on the way that has a Starbucks. And he says to me, I remember this, it became like a thing. And he said, Johnny, is it a real Starbucks? Or is it a real Starbucks? I said, well, yeah, Steve, it's a Starbucks. It's inside Borders Books. They'll have your coffee. He said, are they wearing green aprons? And it just became a thing that was, I sometimes think about that and just start laughing, especially if I go by a Starbucks and I think about that or
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean,
perfect.
I heard that Starbucks is going to open a Starbucks inside the Starbucks.
But and one last thing too is the first time we did the Mission from GAD was right around Steve's 60th birthday. In fact, we celebrated it in Kansas City at Explorers Percussion. And Wes, the owner, might be who recently closed the store, but he might be watching right now. But anyway, but every stop along the way wanted to take us out to dinner to celebrate Steve's birthday. So around day 4 or day 5, I mean, we were all fried because it would be, hours after the clinic ended, we'd be getting on the bus. And Steve just said to me, and we'd be like taking a giant cake onto the bus with us that somebody gave us for Steve for his birthday and the leftover cake. And he said, Johnny, can we just cut this out? Can we just, after the clinics, just get on the bus and go? I said, yeah, we can do that. But anyway.
Remember when we said, let's get the Fonz and hit the road?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That's where Johnny's the Viper, Vice President of Artist Relations, and Joe Testa was working for Vic Firth and Zildjian and stuff.
Yamaha at the time, actually, Steve.
Oh, Yamaha. Okay.
He was Yamaha. Yeah.
The Fonz.
We came up with. We started. I said, he's the Fonz, man. He looks like the Fonz.
This will be the last story. We're sitting at the dinner table one night, and Steve and I are sitting here, and Joe's sitting across from us, and it was late, and we needed to get going. And Steve leans into me, and he said, and you look across at Joe, and his hair was just kind of had the Fonzie thing, and Steve says to me, "What do you say we get the Fonz and get the fuck out of here?" Anyway, you had to be there, but it stuck. That was it.
The other time, there was another one where we all had beautiful sombreros on. You remember that?
I do. Oh, that was a very classic moment. Oh man,
I've seen a picture. You should add a picture if that's around, John.
Yeah, I have that somewhere. Let me
seen that picture.
Let me find that.
Or you can edit it in after.
Yeah, I'll slide that in afterward. I'll slide it on this, but this is a classic too. This I think was from this was Mission from GAD Europe. I know that for sure. And it was either London or Paris. I gave Steve an eye mask to help him sleep at night. And he was saying, maybe I'll do the clinic wearing this. I'm going to wear this during the clinic. It was just nonstop laughter, really. It's just funny.
We had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for taking such good care of me. Really, I appreciate that. And yeah,
Steve,
there they are. Here we are.
That's perfect.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah.
That's
Stefano
great.
and Juan. That was in San Jose, and it's in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. Yeah. That's a great picture. But Steve, just I want to tell you what an honor it was and still is. But to work so closely with you during all those things, the clinics and the Zildjian tribute, and developing the symbols and everything. Just you're so special to everybody, and especially us.
Well, it was special to me, and it's great to be able to look back on this stuff and God, I got memories that I forgot about, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's
And we
intense.
can still laugh.
Yeah,
That's right.
definitely.
That's right. Well, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I know we're a little tight on time, but I think we're going to be good here. I want to thank everybody for watching today. A big hand for my guests, the legendary Steve Gadd.
Thank you.
And
And Rob Wallace, thank you,
and
Rob.
and also a legend, Rob Wallace. And I want to say that, Steve, I think this officially makes you, I think you've passed Rick Marotta as being a guest on my show more often than anybody. And I've banned Rick from the show, by the way. He's been banned.
Yes, right?
He's never coming back. Never coming back. Until I have him back on.
Well, tell him I said goodbye.
I will. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget,
Johnny, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes.
You're a star also, man. Thank you.
thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
Thank
John. You do a
Love
great
guys.
job.
Thank you,
A
guys.
great service for the community.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right,
it, guys.
brother.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys. And
Take care,
everybody
Steve.
watching, yeah, don't forget to get on hudsonmusic.com and get your copy right away. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right, that's my show. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave me a comment, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also download the episodes on all podcast platforms. And please visit my website, livefrommydrumroom.com, for upcoming shows and information on purchasing Live From My Drum Room t-shirts and hoodies. 100% of the proceeds go toward a scholarship I've created with the Percussive Arts Society. The link is also in the show notes. And you can contact me through my website or at livefrommydrumroom@gmail.com. And remember, no drummers are harmed on any show. And drummers, when in doubt, leave it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you again real soon.